Hey, I'm back. Less sick than I was last week. And poorly executing this concept for the intro. It's Old West, for those of you who couldn't tell. Because I've been playing Red Dead Redemption, and this is the only music that's in the saloons. But I'm happy to be here, back in the old studio, and excited to talk about stuff. So, let's just start talking. All right. Intro, a little rusty. It's been a while. I realized the last two episodes I've used pre-recorded audio, so it's been a second since I've played, I've played the actual theme song. And I'm trying to utilize some, tricks of the trade to help with, making things a little bit better, a little bit more smooth for podcast recording. Oh, first of all, let me turn. You're probably hearing this fan in the background. But maybe you didn't. What fan? But if you haven't figured out by the title, I'm Dr. Snedeker, and we're back again. Another episode, another reason for the season, being indoors, recording things, and hoping that it flies out into the world and makes some sort of impact, because that's the power of the internet, the power to just have an idea and send it out there, no matter how, insane it might seem. All things are possible through purchasing a domain or not purchasing a domain and just linking people to random free services and accounts, or building your own online brand. Sounds like I'm about to go into an ad. Building your own online brand has never been easier with Squarespace. Go to the checkout counter and type in "I want Squarespace," and they'll give it to you for free for 10 years. But one of the markers of success, as many podcasters have joked, to know that you've made it as a podcaster, quote unquote, is if you've got some of the recurring brands. You got the Manscaped, the Squarespace, the Dollar Shave Club, Casper mattress, all sort, the Ridge wallet. Look at this. Ridge wallet, for those of you who can't see it, it's my black Ridge wallet. I own one. I also own a Casper mattress. I am one of those people who you hear on the ad and you're like, who buys this? I'm like, I do, because what? Am I going to trust tradition for a mattress? Because the whole premise of it was supposed to be these mattress companies, they won't even let you just sleep in it for more than 5 minutes. But with our mattress, you could own it for 10 years and return it. No fault of your own. It did come in the box, and it was cool that it kind of slowly inflated. But I'm glad to not be as sick as I, rambled, spoke about, whatever you want to call last week's episode, where I kind of was just like, all right, let's just turn on the mic, and we're just going to talk quietly into the mic, very quietly. I'm going to use a mic that is a lower quality, but I'm going to talk very quietly so that I don't strain my voice. That was last week's, the sick ASMR episode. But today, what is the topic? I've led you down a merry little way. We've had our pleasantries, our hellos. What do I want to talk about today? Again, this is all off the cuff. What do I know about anything off the top of my head until it happens? So the thing that I think has been on my mind right now for fall is I don't know, something about fall. There's things I love about it, and there's things that are like the weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just some of the commercialization of it. Like, oh, this guy doesn't like to buy anything. No, I buy things. I just sometimes the advertisement it makes it seem like the leaves changing color is like this miraculous thing. Like it happens every year and it's cool. Like I won't deny that it's a much prettier driving up north to go to, an event or even just around my neighborhood going for a walk and seeing the leaves change color and people raking leaves, more people are kind of out and about. But to have, all sorts of things, at your disposal in the fall. You've got the pumpkin spice, you've got the hot cider, you've got the cold cider, you've got the donuts, you got the apple orchard, maybe you're going apple picking. You got the hay rides, you got the hay rides, you got the cornfield maze, you got the spooky haunted house, you got the, the budding Thanksgiving stuff, the expectation of warm, comforty foods indoors, a little bit time to relax, a changing of the weather too. So I personally love it. I love hoodie season. That is where I thrive, I feel like, because it gives me an excuse to just be layered up and less presentable than I normally am, I guess. Because it's not like I spend a lot of time. It's like, how long did it take to put all this together? This shirt, for those of you who are listening, I'm wearing probably the last shirt I own because I've been sick and I was already running low on like clean, like fresh clothes. Like I had plenty, for another couple days. I'm gonna do laundry later today. Spoiler alert. He told us he was gonna do laundry. I didn't know he was gonna tell us that. I ruined it. I didn't want to do. But I'm gonna do laundry, and this type of shirt. It was blue. Now it's this kind of speckled, faded, overly washed, and maybe that speaks more to me as a person who does the bare minimum with washing clothes. Like I don't read the tags. I don't go like, oh, this needs hot water for 5 minutes, and then this one needs you need to put it in you need to chill it overnight, and then you put it in the oven. No, I assume everything needs cold, and the only times it needs hot is if it's like a towel, something that I don't care if the colors bleed and I want to clean germs from it. And, so it's mostly cold. I usually just try to limit it to like 1 load of laundry, maybe 2 if I'm doing like a load of like my sheets. I'm probably going to do a load of the accoutrements of my bed, the blankets and stuff. Since I was, just sick in my bed for a few days. But I am also going to, in terms of clothes, I'm starting to get to that point. Like longtime listeners know I've been on this journey to continue losing weight, getting healthier, getting more fit. Being sick kind of was at the peak of my like plateauingness. Now I'm starting to feel like, all right, now let's get back out there and do some more walking and be a little more diet conscious, especially since we're in the slow months, baby, for musicians, the slow months. Unless you got some studio projects, some local shows, it's boiling down to like earning off of like the holidays and people at home and trying to divide your time. And there's not as much stuff happening unless you want to miss all those key points. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people this year being back out on the road, back out on tours. They're going to be doing Thanksgiving at a La Quinta Inn in Kansas, or they're going to be, maybe they're doing it at a friend of the band's, like a house they're staying at for the weekend, and they're doing a fantastic dinner in Italy or something. But, as we get back into our crazy culture of just working until everyone around us dies, and then we just keep working to numb the pain of having spent a life working, because it's apparently what everyone is just comfortable doing in America. We're just like angry that we couldn't go work, and then some people are like, but what if we didn't work? And they're like, no, you have to work all the time. And it's like, okay, but I'm dying. And they're like, no, you gotta keep working. And it's, it's like a, I don't know, like a spooky Old West villain just moving into town. I'll get you, you crazy sheriff. And like just shooting off guns. It's like, I don't know. He's tiptoeing up and he's like, You gotta go back to work, Sonny. No! It's like I'm in an Old West musical. But, why we got fall. That's what that all I was leading up to. Fall. Fall is here, pumpkin spice Ugg boots and scented candle holiday cards and, a turducken stuffed, Mayflower hat. I don't know. The Pilgrims. The Pilgrims were so noble. They came over and then they ruined everything. And now we're here. They were escaping persecution so they could in turn persecute others. Oh. And Columbus was the best person ever. Hot take, Columbus. The fall, we're in it. Cornucopias for some families, spooky ghosts for other families, spooky content for people who like watching spooky content. I don't know. People who like seeing their favorite personalities dress up in costume and just, what did Kim Kardashian go as? Was she she went as the specter of death because or she went like, what'd you go as? I'm a corn cob. Like, why? Or like, I'm my new line of clothes. It's called Kim Possible, trademarked. I own it now. I'm Kim Possible. Wait. There. That's the Kim Possible jingle. The phone. What's the sitch? But, the fall is also a time to, like I said, we're indoors. It's a weird time for musicians. You're either out on the road kind of just braving the elements, or you're back in your home, your sphere, your region, kind of playing to the local crowds, playing to the local environments, picking up gigs off tour if you're in a more, touring heavy band. Maybe you're back in the studio. Earth Radio's, we got a mixing session this week. Like, I've got probably 3 other sessions I'm involved on within the next 3 weeks. And, preparing for holiday concerts, just doing all sorts of things. It's a whole thing. It's a lot of work and I'm exhausted. I thought I was looking forward to like slowing down a little bit, but apparently past me committed to things that last until at least middle of December. But I do have a week off next week, so when you're hearing next week's episode, that will be something I will record, which will be a little teaser for next week. It's a story that happened recently, And it's, you know, it's just a fun tale of sometimes how it be out there in the in the world of being a musician. But more on that later. The fall also, you know, especially in Michigan, it inspires kind of people use fall as one of the reasons why they love living in Michigan, because, you know, nature changes colors, everything kind of becomes a little bit cozier. You know, people are looking forward when they go out. There's that brisk chilliness, and then it's like, oh, let's cozy up, and then they go inside a place, and everyone's there, and it's like, you know, a scene out of a Hollywood movie or something. And people at the bar are like, oh, Phil, oh, what are you doing here, Phil? Oh, good to see you. Everyone's 85 apparently in all my skits, but you know, just the feeling of like you come, a lot of people are coming home from school, you know, for different breaks, fall break, mid-semester break, Thanksgiving break, Christmas break. Everyone gets a break right as the year starts. And then you get one break, usually, at least in my experience, you get one break in the spring when it, like, you need that break leading towards the final push. But you know, people come home, you see people you haven't seen in a while. People move back sometimes. You know, they move just before the weather gets bad, and you're like, oh, like, what are you? I haven't seen you in forever. Oh, yeah, we found a house. I was just down the street, and, you know, I realize I'm doing like someone's impression of like Jordan Peterson. You see, masculinity is actually codified through the representation of the male father figure being present in a young man's life. And without the father figure, they begin to search into the ether for those traits of masculinity, whether it's in media or in personalities or in my book, 12 Reasons You Gotta Clean Your Room, Steve. But, you know, people are back. People are, you know, enjoying one another. It's that like precursor to Christmas, that the in terms of the feeling, the emotions. The air is thick with mulled wine and cheer and baked goods and hot toddies and Todd bodies. Lots of Todds running around with their bodies. But it's, you know, it's a cozier time. It's more of an excuse to just come home and curl up on the couch. It's, you know, an extra layer of warm blankets. It's your favorite hoodie. It's, you know, being able to like sleep in a little bit, wake up, throw on a hat, and just call it like, all right, here I am. I showed up. What do you want? It's freezing. But it's, you know, it's a nice time to also reflect on the summer. You know, I had a very, very fun, polar opposite summer to last year, obviously, but it was a very fun summer. A lot of, you know, traveling, a lot of seeing people I hadn't seen in a while, a lot of, you know, shows, a couple festivals, you know, getting back into that flow of being in a band, being a more full-time musician than just being remote, you know. Getting to interact with people, you know, like today I had lunch with a friend, and that's like, you know, we were both kind of just like, wow, like, what is this? What is this that we are doing? Living our lives. Like, I don't think people have stopped to really think about that. I feel like once Starbucks was open again, they just yelled, Frappuccino! And then they're back at, you know, the normal grind that had been pent up inside of them of just like, I have to work 75 hours a day or else Gary Vee will kill me. You know, like, we don't slow down. We go, 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 go. I can't even drink. Everything that kept me afloat in my 20s, I feel like I mentioned this before too, like, everything that kept me afloat in my 20s is just gone. Like, I don't drink alcohol anymore. I haven't had, you know, I'm totally comfortable not drinking it anymore. Like, I tried reintroducing caffeine after 2 months off. it was fine for like one cup, and then every subsequent cup just, I think that's why I got sick. It pushed my body further past the point of it being okay to operate, because my barometer for how busy I am is so skewed because of music school and being a musician that I don't understand when I'm like, when I think about this, I was sick for 5 days. I still edited and put out 2 podcast episodes and recorded these 2 episodes. And I masked up, played my friend's wedding, and I recorded music with Mark Lavengood. We have a Dogtown session. You can catch a little bit of that session if you go to his Instagram. I think it's at mark.lavengood on Instagram. You can see a little snippet of us running through a new song of his. And so you think about that, I was sick. I was still sick. Like, I hadn't gotten better. Like, there was still like a little bit of something in my throat, a little stuffy, congestion in my ears, like couldn't really hear that fully, it was very congested. I was still sick, and I had 5 days of being sick, like sick where I knew I was sick, and I still did things. I had 2 days that were really, it was like, okay, I played more Red Dead Redemption, but I also, edited videos. I also posted content. I also made, random things here and there for those podcasts. So I don't know what it's like to relax. I'm going to be taking some time off next week, and I filled 2 days with concerts, which will be activities that are fun, and I will enjoy them. But I will also have 2 days where I am going to be spending actually one day and 2 nights in a city I've never been to. Found an Airbnb with a hot tub, so I'm looking forward to that. And it's all I can really afford in actuality. Like, I would love to take a full week off and like go somewhere and just like mostly disconnect or fully disconnect. I don't think I've fully disconnected from everything for a while. I've taken time off Facebook, but I haven't taken, I haven't like left my phone. It's hard to when you're like, oh, this is the thing that I can pull up, like YouTube. I could pull up a video that's fun, all these things. I don't know how to take a break. I just look at my phone and see a to-do list or unanswered emails or unanswered texts or unanswered messages. And there's a sense of urgency in that because you want to, continue to be social and informed and part of a thing. But culture moves so fast now on the internet with the, memes and all sorts of things that people way younger than me are inventing these subcultures that I don't really need to be a part of, but I am becoming aware of. And it's like, okay, add that to the list of things that I probably can't be a part of. And so relaxing this fall is what I mean. Like, the fall, it's too cold to do. The people who are like doing, like marathons in the cold, I'm like, either you're a special human being, a person who has so much determination and a love for literally running that you would do that, or you're a crazy person. But people would say that about me. It's like, you play piano and that's your income? Like, that's crazy. Like, what? How do you even do that? I just see that as little fun little tricks you do at parties. Or like you play it in high school and then you give up on that dream. Like, how many people have come up to me and just been like, oh, I used to play piano, but it's too late for me. And you're like, well, too late for what? You're not going to make a career out of it. Learn how to play the piano. What are you talking about? Don't use me as a compare. Oh, but you play all the piano. I don't need to play any of the piano. You can play piano. Like, what? It's not Highlander. Like, there can be more than one. And, it's the season. It's the season of reflection. It's the season of introspection. Some people, it's a depressing time. Seasonal affect disorder. Seasonal. Is that what it is? Seasonal affect disorder. Sad. The type of seasonal depression. Other people, it's very stimulating. They like the cold. They like the outdoors. They like doing we're going to camp when you can't even feel anything and it's going to be awesome. It's like, cool. I'm going to stay inside where I can try and heat my room. But, the fall is here. I'm excited. I'm glad that there's some time to do some local shows with Earth Radio, with Normal Mode, with some other jazz stuff coming up down the pipeline. Those things will probably be updated by the time I put things out. For example, if you're listening to this, Earth Radio will have just done a show at Unruly Brewing Company with Flexidecibel. And then my next show, I think, is November 13th with Lee Heerspink at the Listening Room. Gonna play his music, which go check out that album. It's doing pretty well with the placements it's had in radio and in different jazz spheres. And then November, I think it's 18, 19, and 20. Yeah, that's Earth Radio. We're doing 2 nights. All 3 nights are with this Ohio band, Tree No Leaves. We're doing them at the Village Idiot in Maumee, and then the Howard H. Club in Bowling Green, I believe, and at the Tip Top Deluxe in Grand Rapids. So all these shows are coming. And then the week after that, I have a show with Earth Radio at Rake Beer Project that will be announced soon. We're figuring out like a week of Thanksgiving type fun shindig for all you Muskeganites, and a trio gig with John Muir Cotton and Madison George on November 26th. And then December there's a handful of shows, but that can be said in later podcasts. But there's stuff happening, and I have to remind myself that even if the fall feels like it's going to be a cozy, like a lazier time in some aspects, like all you want to do is get home, curl up, and hibernate. Like you don't want to run around. You don't want to be putting up posters in the cold rain or the snow. You don't want to be, chasing down leads, networking, doing. It's like at some point we all need to just be like, hey, like just chill. And that's what people have been telling me. And I'm slowly figuring it out, because my version of chill is still like, I still have to have something that's either going to be done that is time and labor intensive in some capacity, or it's, like, oh yeah, I had a day off. All I did was spend 2 hours editing a video, waiting 2 hours for it to render, and then spending an hour, dressing it up, scheduling it, putting it up for patrons, creating, Facebook posts or something about it. But, that's just me. You can work as hard as me if you want. I'm not saying like, this is what you gotta do. I've probably said that in some capacity. Like you gotta be multifaceted and work hard, but I'm also learning how to not work hard, because it's exhausting. My hoodie is on its way. The exhausted hoodie. It's gonna be shipped out this Wednesday, and I'm ready for that vibe. The just exhausted. Like it's like what else am I? I'm exhausted. I have bags under my eyes. My sleep's all over the place. My energy is somehow much higher without any stimulant other than water and an increasingly better diet, but it's bananas out there. And take the fall, you know what? Who cares? Eat whatever food. Eat the comfort food, get the donut, get the coffee, catch up with an old friend, sneak in some time with people because, you know, we haven't seen a lot of people in a while. And, you know, just the simple act of going out and getting breakfast somewhere could mean the difference between like a boring day and a more fun day. So go do that. You know, I'm ready for the next year. I'm ready. I'm excited. There are things happening, things in the background. I'm ready for year 2 of all these podcasts, you know. I'm ready to like change up how these podcasts are kind of not presented in the sense of some of the content, but just visually and the promotion aspects. You know, I'm learning more things, and that's another thing about the fall. You take time to learn, you know, regroup, what worked, what didn't work for your busy season. You know, make adjustments, try new things. Try new things in the studio, try new things in your home, in your bedroom. Like, you know, just experiment with different stuff and see what results come of you know, your progress. And on that note, we're done with this podcast. Thanks for listening on Dutcher's Hootenanny, the old saloon. You can, you know, support this podcast in a variety of ways. Like I mentioned at the top, Anchor.fm is where all these podcasts get distributed. You can also donate directly to the podcast through those landing pages. And you can also contribute through patreon.com/Dutcher Snedeker. Newsletters will have gone out for the month of October, but keep an eye out because the next month's sticker artwork is already done, and I'm going to be announcing it probably the second week of November after my vacation. And you could also just support with your clicks and your shares, going on the various platforms, wherever you happen to listen to this podcast. Let people know it exists. Let people know that you enjoy it. And we'll see you in a future episode where hopefully, I don't know, I have some fun with this story that I'm going to tell. So get ready for that. See you next time.